Do you know that you are surrounded by oceans of wisdom? Not only are you surrounded by oceans of wisdom, but there's an ocean of wisdom that exists deep within you. Oceans of wisdom that are so amazingly experiential. Oceans of wisdom that can take you from here to infinite levels of performance, infinite levels of success, infinite levels of capabilities and abilities. Oceans of wisdom crossing generations of experiences, knowledge, all around you, all within you. But have you ever, even if you remotely knew that they existed, have you ever made an attempt to tap into them? To take a truckload of water from these oceans and make your life an amazing one. Now, if you are not aware, firstly, of the ocean of wisdom, and secondly, if you're aware of it, but you don't have a wherewithal how to connect with it, welcome. Let's take this traverse. Let me share with you 4 important oceans of wisdom which I discovered and connected with as I journeyed through life. Welcome back. Welcome back to the musings of an old maverick. Welcome back to the archives of my life. Now let's discover the first ocean of wisdom. And this is a very interesting one. Cryptic though, but interesting. You and I, like everyone else, constitute of 3 dimensions. The energy force, the body force, and the mind force. And all 3 constitute the self. So the first ocean of wisdom is exploring the self. Now, you are actually speaking neither your mind, neither your body. You are your energy force. And you will discover this very, very vividly if you, like me, meditate on a very regular basis. I have been meditating for over 5 decades now. And the experience of the self, where I'm concerned, is very, very different from your experience of the self. Everything that I do is done from a high level of consciousness. So now, what is the wisdom that I have discovered in this ocean that exists with these 3 important dimensions in it? The energy force, the mind force, and the body force. When you stay away or drift away from the mind and the body, you will realize that your mind is the way you think, all your thoughts are who you become, and your body is the physical form of whatever you put into it. So therefore, both you will discover requires an enormous amount of discipline, because if you think the wrong things in life, your life will certainly be a mess. If you eat the wrong things or drink the wrong things in life, your body will certainly be a mess, which will eventually create a mess in your life too. So if you actually track the body, which is in itself an amazing machine, let me tell you this, because it can take care of itself like no other. We are the ones who interfere with it. We are the ones who make it so difficult for it to actually flower into a powerful dimension. Same as the mind. The mind is another very beautiful dimension. But because we think all the wrong things, we delve into all the wrong aspects of our mind, thinking thoughts, or rather getting into thoughts that have absolutely no significance to our growth mindset, we poison our mind, and therefore we create hurdles in our life. When I discovered that I could decide what to think, and I could make a complete decision of what I put into my body, I complemented my energy force in a manner unbelievable. All the 3 then put together made me who I am today. I take care of my mind with what I allow it to retain and throw out the garbage that is not required. I look after my body. I wake up early in the morning. I begin with a meditation process, which is again curing the mind. I then hit the road for 3 kilometers. I hit the swimming pool or the gym for another hour and a half. I think that gives me all the energy need to take my day forward in the most constructive way. So the self is one major wisdom, one major ocean filled with wisdom. And all you need to do is sit, meditate, connect with these 3 dimensions, and you will discover an amazing ocean within you. My second ocean of wisdom are actually the people who are very close to me, my own family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, my wife, my children. Everyone has their own oceans of wisdom which I connect to. I draw into the oceans of wisdom and increase mine. Let me tell you how small things, small advices can make that huge difference in your life. For example, from a very young age, 8 or 9, I loved waking up in the morning and going for a jog. Running for me even today is such a natural, wonderful way of keeping great balance between my mind, my body, and my energy space. So when I eventually got to my teens and a little bit more matured enough to understand deeper advices from my dad, he was a great advisor. He gave me one beautiful advice, gave me a chance to actually glance into his ocean of wisdom. And what was the advice? He said, son, when you wake up in the morning, I would like you to jog towards the rising sun. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you see that sun rising, you will always be reminded of one important fact. And the fact is that you have only 12 hours before the sun sets again to do something exemplary for the people you love, for the people who love you, and for the people who need you. That's all that you got to do in those 12 hours. That was a glance into his ocean of wisdom, drawing the ocean into mine. Let's take another an amazing example. My mother. My mom always believed in 3 very important words. I am responsible. Why did she say that? She said, see, nobody in this world is responsible for who you are, what you are, and what's happening to you. Whether you are sad or you're happy, you are responsible. Whether you are grieving or whether you're excited, that is your responsibility. Whether you fail or whether you succeed, that is your responsibility. You are responsible for every moment of your existence. Every moment of your existence, either going all the way north or going all the way south. You are responsible. So I can go on telling you so many stories, so many beautiful things I have learned from the people that I loved and the people who love me. And you know why I put so much importance to this particular ocean? Because this ocean comes with a lot of love, affection, integrity, truth, and respect. And therefore this ocean is a very, very powerful ocean. And from this ocean, there is so much that I learned. My third ocean of wisdom, and this is another beautiful one. This is to do with your professional life, your colleagues, your leadership, the teams you work in, the friends you have there, the organizations that you work in. Each element comes along, like I say, with their own oceans of wisdom. Now, I'll give you a very interesting story about one manager that I worked under who taught me so much in terms of man management. He was an amazing man manager. So he gave me a glance into his ocean of wisdom. He taught me one important thing, that no matter who you are in this team, no matter how big you may be, no matter how large or how small your team is, it is they who pay your salary. It is not the organization. Each one of them contribute to your success, which is then paid for by your organization. So you must always respect that. You must always be grateful for that. And because of that, every month end, I'm talking about those years when, we used to get checks in terms of our salaries and not the online transfer that happen now. Every month beginning, I would carry my salary check and I would go to each of my team members and personally thank them for the check. This created such an amazing bond. This is what I learned from one of the oceans of wisdom in my professional life. Yes, there's been various other types of leaderships that were very difficult to work with, leaderships that really stunk. But then what was the ocean of wisdom there? I promised myself that no matter what, I would never ever be like them. I would never do the things they did. That in itself is an ocean of wisdom. How you tap into an ocean of wisdom depends a lot on the way you perceive things, the way your mindset is, and how strongly you believe in a growth mindset. Keep that inculcated all the time. And finally, my fourth wisdom of ocean. Let me tell you, it never ever ended on 4 oceans for me. There were so many more I could talk about. But then I'll have to spend the whole day with you. But these are the 4 very important ones. My fourth ocean of wisdom was derived from books. Books, and books. Now, why do I say books? It's a very interesting. What interesting dimension of my oceans of wisdom. Today, we are very fortunate to be able to connect with each other, not only through books, if I was an author or writer, which I am, but also through vlogs like this, where you can connect with me and take a journey into the archives of my life and connect with the oceans of wisdom I have within me. Now, when I say books, I don't talk about being voracious readers where books are concerned. No, that is not how you read a book. Books for me are like a time machine. They're like a time machine. What is a book? It's an expression of an author. A writer who is wanting to share a series of expressions, a series of experiences, well woven into a beautiful story, a beautiful tale, something to connect you. Now, either you be a voracious reader and you flip through the pages from chapter 1 to chapter Z, and then you say, I finished the entire book, not so good. Or you go a little deeper, you look at the way the sentences are constructed, the way the paragraphs are made, the way the author expresses himself now and then. You connect with the story, you think it, you walk into the book with your own thoughts, your own perceptions, and yet you feel maybe it should be different here, different there. It's like a critical appreciation as you read the book. But that's not the way I read books. I read a book like I'm stepping into a time machine. I start connecting with the author's mind movie. I really want to know what is the author not only trying to say, but where is it all coming from? What's the source of his thought? What is the Gangotri of the Ganges, the river? And when I step into a time machine, I am transporting myself back maybe 1 decade, 10 decades, a century, a few centuries, depending when the author wrote this book or when the author existed in that particular ecosystem. And imagine the beauty of the whole thing, that I actually step into his mind through all that he's trying to tell me. Sentence after sentence, paragraph after paragraph, chapter after chapter. Swaying with his dialogues, enjoying every second of the movie, and actually, quite actually, reading in between the lines the real story. And that's when you discover a huge ocean of wisdom. Just not the story. Just not the story, but the very ecosystem the author was in. Because that's where you traversed into, you traveled back in time. And the beauty of his thoughts, his expressions, his mind, and the ocean of wisdom that is coming from. This is my 4 best oceans of wisdom. Are you aware of any other? If you are, then do let me know. I would love to hear it. This is Anand Nair signing off for now, and I'll be back soon. Till then, celebrate life. Celebrate being you.